Okay, now we would like to invite all of you on the list to please join us back up at the front, along with our esteemed board, to take one group photo.
So I could be kind of with
Yeah, right. Front of the table.
Okay. Going from the side, you wanna?
I can get,
I got really good. I'm
Okay, if we say 30 more.
all right.
Yes.
Do you have any help?
Right, Lisa?
All of you for your surgery. We will move on to the comment. It looks like we are internet on the right, so the lady folks joining us online. The board of directors welcomes public participation and civil engagement, and 60 minutes will be provided for public comment as a guideline. We value each individual's opportunity to be a part of the public participation process. It is expected that speakers will serve the common public expected rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste is outlined in policy 4203. Civility, civil conduct is expected. Members of the audience may comment on items relating to the matter related to school board business. Negative comments or criticisms of individual staff or students are not allowed. Concerns involving individual employees should be addressed to the appropriate administrative supervisors, either in the school or in the district office. Public comment can be in person by phone or Zoom video. Conferencing will be called upon to speak within a short time. When addressing the school board, each person should give their name, school district which you preside, and identify the topic you are addressing. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. You may defer your time to another attendee of the meeting. Individually only receive 1 minute of time to be able to occupy 6 minutes. This is a time for board members to listen, consider, but not comment or give. So, let's see anybody online. First public comment is Mr. However, Lindsay, semester is deferring her time to Hillary Stevens. So with that in mind, that is Hillary Stevens.
My name is Hillary Stevens, and I'm the president of the public school district. I'm a parent of 4 children in the Clover Park School District, actually, and I'm here to represent a group of concerned parents at Harrison Prep. And there's actually a lot of people here for this same issue today. Several of us are going to be speaking, but if anybody here wants to stand up just to show that you're representing this, that would be great. You don't have to stay standing for the whole thing. So the Harrison Prep Drama Club is a large, active group of hardworking students. There are 94 students in grades 6 through 12 that participate in this club. This year, 14 performances from this group were awarded superior ratings at the state festival. That qualified them to compete in the International Thespian Festival of Indiana this June. One performance, Gutenberg the musical, was even awarded Chapter Select. This means they were selected to represent the entire state of Washington at the International Thespian Festival. The Drama Club has been preparing for this and has been actively fundraising so they can attend this event for the past 2 years. Last year, the club approved a budget that was subsequently approved at the building and district levels that included funds to pay for the trip to Indiana in June. Last month, seniors in the Drama Club who have fundraised for this trip for the last 2 years were told they could not participate with the school because graduation will take place before the festival in June. The Drama Club advisor, India Harris, was told, according to WAC 392, 138, 105, and Chapter 12 of the ASB Fund Accounting Manual, ASB funds could only be used for current, active, and enrolled students. Neither of these documents mention the words current, active, or enrolled. They talk about how funds can be collected and how to keep track of them. The only mention of how funds can be used says it's for the extracurricular benefit of students and that students' involvement in decision-making processes is an integral part of the ASB government. Further, this week, underclassmen were told that they were also not able to use these funds because of RCW 28A 325030. They were told that in the name of equity, because this field trip wasn't offered to all 94 members, the ones who qualified couldn't go. This has nothing to do with the aforementioned RCW. The only mention of how the funds can be used in this RCW states, the Associated Student Body Program Fund shall be budgeted by the Associate Student Body, subject to the approval of the Board of Directors of the school district. The students did budget this money, and it was approved last year. Because last year, they were also told at the last minute that they could not go on this trip, but were ensured that if they set and approved the budget in the way that they did, they could go this year. There also are plenty of other examples of clubs, sports, etc., taking on only a subset of their members and athletes to competitions. Taking all 94 students is not equity, it's equality. But what is equitable is how the HB Drama Club has been run. The club provides students with opportunities and the supports for all their members they need to grow into amazing thespians. This decision to not allow the students to go is putting up barriers and taking away opportunities for those students who have worked very hard. It is creating an unequitable situation where only the students who can pay for the entire trip on their own and arrange for an adult chaperone without the help at all from the school will be going. This school and the district seems like they're going out of their way to make up excuses as to why these students cannot go and setting moving targets for them to reach, when instead they should be celebrating and supporting their hard work, dedication, and achievements. The students are being prevented from spending money that they have earned and budgeted appropriately. Thank you.
Lee Wester, who is deferring on Lois Stevens.
Hello, my name is Lola Stevens. I'm also a resident of the Clover Park School District, and I've been a member of Harrison Preparatory's Drama Club for all 4 years of high school. I have also been a participating member of our thespian troupe, number 8433, for 3 years, and I've competed at the state level. For these past 3 years, there has always been an offer for the opportunity to participate in the International Thespian Festival, also known as ITF, in Bloomington, Indiana, in June. Unfortunately, the cost for this competition is quite high, and like me, many students have been saving money for registration and travel costs since 2023. This year, our troupe had many thespians receive national qualifying scores, and they showed that I and one of my fellow troupe members produced ourselves was nominated to represent the state at ITF. We were very disappointed to learn that seniors would no longer be able to use funds in the Drama Club's ASB account. Funds raised specifically for this event, raised by the students. So on our own, my friends and I have raised nearly $5,000 to pay for myself and our piano player in our nationally qualifying show, as we are both seniors that would be registering for ITF. We did this with the understanding that our other cast members, not seniors, would be covered by the school funds. We were further discouraged to learn that at the administrative and district level, the decision has recently been made to completely prohibit any students from using Drama Club ASB funds to pay for ITF. The reasoning given thus far has been that our ASB account does not meet standards outlined in RCW 28A 325030, which outlines the use of ASB funds. Our interpretation of this RCW is that the money that we, the students, have fundraised for 2 years for the sole purpose of paying for this event should be able to be spent on this event. Section 2 of the RCW states that student groups may conduct fundraising activities, including but not limited to soliciting donations in their private capacities for the purpose of generating non-associated student body fund monies. It also states that such monies will not be considered public monies. With this, we find the argument that funds raised should be spent equally on all members of the Drama Club, not only those in the Thespian Society, invalid. As the executive ASB president of the school, I have been present for every meeting in which we have approved the budgeting for Drama Club, including the meetings where fundraisers to collect money specifically for ITF have been approved. There are plenty of other fundraisers that Drama Club hosts that benefit all students in the club, but I assure you that there is proper documentation and budgeting regarding ITF expenditures. Another point I would like to contend is the claim that seniors should not receive any funding for this trip because the trip takes place after graduation. I see no evidence of there being a policy against providing aforementioned non-associated student body funds to persons not enrolled in the school. We often pay performers in the live band during musicals who are adults and not enrolled at HP, so this claim seems to have no basis. Additionally, the registration deadline for ITF is May 13th, which falls before graduation, so seniors would be receiving the benefits of the funds before being immediately unenrolled after graduation. This deadline is also coming up soon enough that it leaves us students with essentially no time to fundraise enough money for ourselves to enroll without aid from the school. These recent decisions are unfair to all Thespian members, especially juniors and seniors this year. Promises to work this out by next school year are unhelpful as per the logic that we have been given. Seniors who have raised money will not be able to attend this year, and juniors who have raised money this year will not be able to attend next year if the same rules about seniors applies. In general, the lack of support and funding for high achieving and opportunity seeking students of the arts deeply frustrates me. I would love to move forward and gain a better understanding of the reasoning behind these decisions and work with the board to make this opportunity possible for students. Thank you.
Next is Dr. Randall.
My name is Dr. Leanna Bullock. I also reside in the Clover Park School District. The Harrison Prep Drama Club students have spent 2 years fundraising to attend the International Thespian Festival in Bloomington, Indiana in June, and it is preposterous that the district is now preventing students from attending. It also does not make sense that the school and the district approved the drama board submitted 2025-2026 budget, which includes the June field trip to Indiana, and yet now the students are told they cannot go. First, the parents of senior drama students were told that the district cannot allow graduated seniors to participate in school-sponsored travel after graduation, yet other schools in Washington take seniors on school-sponsored trips in the summer. We were told that ASB funds are only to be used for current enrolled students per WAC 392-138-105 and the OSPI School District Accounting Manual, Chapter 12. Yet this policy states, quote, funds may be expended to defray the cost of optional non-credit extracurricular events, quote, and the manual is about the methods and procedures of using ASB funds. There is no mention about funding for current enrolled students. Then administration makes a claim that all students should have equitable access to attend. We were told that equitable access is from policy RCW 28A.325.030, but this policy is about where ASB funds are deposited, how the funds should be budgeted, and how the funds are generated. There is no wording in this policy about equitable access. There needs to be more transparency from administration and the CPSD board to Harrison Prep drama families. Is one person interpreting the policies, or is the entire board voting and making a decision? Why is administration making excuses and claiming policies that are not relevant to excuses? There needs to be accountability to the parents of these drama students. The drama students have worked hard, spending endless hours practicing, and should be able to showcase their talent and represent their school in Indiana. One group of drama students competed in the main stage event and won chapter selection, and they should be able to attend the festival to represent the state of Washington. If seniors are not allowed to compete in nationals, you are discouraging students from representing Harrison Prep, and you are inadvertently telling students that there is no reason to work hard since you do not support their endeavors. The CPSD board should be encouraging students, not discouraging them. My hope moving forward is that administration collaborates with families on how best to serve our students and give them opportunities that are recognized at a national level. Thank you.
Next is, Rita Bullock, deferring time to Kelsey Benson.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Benson. I'm a freshman at Harrison Prep. I'm involved in HP's Drama Club, troop number 8433, and serve as vice president, technical director, marketing lead, and I'm involved in the Thespian Society. I've been in HP's Drama Club since 6th grade. And while being in Drama Club, I've learned how to become a better leader, how to manage my time, and how to speak up for what I think is not right. Not only has it taught me amazing leadership skills, but I've also learned who I am and who I want to be. This year was my first year going to go to the Washington State Thespian Festival. While I went to this festival, I got to see shows, superior rated thespian performances, and so much talent from all over Washington. I got to observe my peers participate in activities, seeing my peers present for honor troop and getting silver rated, to getting to see a co-directed musical with 2 of my peers that won chapter select for Washington State. While at the Washington State Thespian Festival, I rediscovered my love for theater and how much it meant to me. After that, I decided I wanted to go to the International Thespian Festival, held in Bloomington, Indiana, which is a week long of theater. Getting to take acting workshops, dance workshops, learn more about the technical side of theater, and getting to see shows and performances from all over the United States, including our own show, the Musical. Me and my troop wanted to attend ITF last summer, but were sadly unable to attend due to financial reasons. So we plan to go this year, to fundraise over the summer and school year to be all ready to go when the time comes around. Once we had already fundraised for this event, we found out that we could not attend with the school because of administrative and compliance requirements related to school-sponsored activities and associated process. Not only was this a huge disappointment, but also a setback to the students who were planning to attend this trip. When we were going with our school, students only had to pay half the cost, while HB Drama Club would pay the other half. Now, without Drama Club paying for half the cost, the trip has become inaccessible to HB students. With the trip being canceled so close to the registration due date, being May 13th, many students will not be able to fundraise money in time. If we participate in fundraisers with other companies like restaurants, car washes, or more, most require a 30-day notice before anticipated fundraiser date. We understand that there are rules and regulations for field trips like this, but it is still a huge disappointment. When we got told last year we could not attend, we also got suggested that we attend ITF every year. So we planned that this would be the year we go. And our troop director, India Harris, would register us during spring break, just for us to find out when we come back that we will not be able to go to this trip with our school. Our understanding of RCW.2AA.325.030 explains that field trips must be offered to everyone in the club. We have also not been apologized to anyone but our troop director, Ms. Harris, which makes us feel disrespected as a troop because this means a lot to the students at HP. I'd love to make this trip more accessible for students because theater is important to have in our schools and communities. How can the board and students work together to make this trip happen? Additionally, saying we can go next year is unfair, as we have already submitted our club budget, which means even if we wanted to go next year, we couldn't because when we submitted our budget for next year, we did not budget enough to go. Budgets have already gone through and been approved. It would be an inconvenience to try and change it next year, so we have a big enough budget to be able to attend ITF. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good day.
Next is Ashley.
I'll be deferring my comments to Jim Shaw.
Good evening. I rise in response to comments made recently by Superintendent Banner and President Thomas on Tuesday, March 24th in the Harrison Preparatory Library to staff. On that day, you addressed the assembled HB staff to discuss the findings of the district's investigation of staff concerns expressed in their overwhelming vote of no confidence in the school's administrators and the related counterclaims by Principal Dr. Richardson about HP staff. In the process of sharing the investigation report, HP staff was accused, among other things, of conscious and unconscious racism, unprofessional and insubordinate behavior, and not caring about student success since the departure of Dr. Kevin Ruprecht as the school's previous principal. As you might imagine, each of these assertions has had the effect of diminishing already low staff morale and leading many staff to seriously consider Superintendent Banner's invitation to request voluntary transfer, while others consider leaving our district altogether. Such an exodus would be a tragedy for the HP community. Though I am a relatively new member of the staff, I see my colleagues as among the most student-centered, well-trained, and dedicated educators I've worked with in my 27-year career in the Clover Park School District. If the recent resignation of Dr. Ruprecht was in any way related to this investigation and final report, then it is a further miscarriage of justice. The conclusions that his actions were part of the undermining of Dr. Richardson seems to be based on an isolated comment in the footnotes of the full report about staff choosing to work at HP because of personal loyalty to him, rather than a commitment to student success. I know that any staff loyalty to Dr. Ruprecht was based on his focus on student success as principled, mindful achievers, our PUMA values, and the high quality of his character. He will be missed. Superintendent Banner called upon all staff to participate in a culture and climate reconstruction project in the spirit of honest engagement to create a climate of trust. I look forward to participating in this work, difficult though it may be. If it is meant to hold all participants to the same high standard of engagement, honesty, and performance, we all deserve nothing less. Thank you.
Next up, we have Robin first.
I'd like to defer my minutes to Liz Scott, please.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Liz Scott and I live in Lakewood, Washington. And I'm here on a different topic. I'm here to talk about banning cell phones in class. As a grandmother of 7 and a retired licensed mental health counselor with specialty in child development, I've been increasingly alarmed at the effects of smartphones on children in all aspects of their life. I'm sure those of you who are parents or work with young people are seeing the repercussions of this out-of-control medium. Numerous studies have shown the relationship of smartphones with apps to the epidemic of mental illness and suicidality in children and teens. As you know, ages 12 to 16 are a critical period for brain growth and social development, and this is being heavily impacted by the unrestrained use of smartphones. If you haven't already, I urge you to read The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. Some of the information I'll be providing is from his book. According to Haidt, the average number of notifications on young people's phones from top social and communication apps amounts to 192 alerts per day. The main harm to kids is social deprivation, sleep deprivation, attention fragmentation, lack of physical exercise, and for some kids, addiction. And the harm is not just to the individual child, but to groups. The presence of smartphones in school changes the culture. Kids talk to each other less, spend more time checking their phone, make less frequent eye contact, less laughing together, and lose the practice of making conversation, as awkward as that can be at times. Social media harms the social lives even of the students who stay away from it. I see this personally with my 11-year-old granddaughter in Portland. She goes to a Waldorf school where phone use is not allowed even at home, as well as computers or social media. However, she is still affected because most of her non-school friends and non-complying friends do have that access, and she is left out when they only want to talk about social media stuff, or is bored by their constant use of their phones instead of doing other activities. Hate knows as young people move their social relationships online, those relationships become disembodied, asynchronous, and sometimes disposable. Attention is a choice we make to stay on one task, one line of thinking, one mental road, even as attractive off-ramps beckon. This is even harder for teens than it is for adults. Overcoming the tendency to flit around is the first thing a teacher must overcome, which is why it is so important that schools go phone-free in the class. The mere presence of a phone damages students' ability to focus and think. I have a relative who I talked to who works at Curtis High School. University Place had a similar policy to Clover Parks, and it was enforced sporadically by some teachers, but didn't really stop students from having and using their phones in class. I've heard reports that this is true at Clover Park as well. At the start of this year, the administration at University Place stepped up and enforced the ban on phones in class with progressive discipline. Since the beginning of the year, phones are not out in the class, and students are doing in-class work and talking to each other more. Teachers feel more supported, and the policy is applied throughout the school. In 2012, Mountain Middle School in Durango, Colorado went phone-free. The county had the highest teen suicide rates, and students were suffering from cyberbullying, sleep deprivation, and constant social comparisons. They implemented a complete cell phone ban where phones stayed in backpacks for the entire day, and there were real consequences for breaking the rules. The effects were transformative on every level, and the school's academic performance improved, and after a few years, it attained Colorado's highest performance rating. I just recently read Clover Park's policies on the use of phones and found it to be vague and not clear on how it is being forced and by who. I noted all of the detailed phone activities students are not allowed to do that I'm sure they are doing. The document just seems to allow the school to provide consequences when problems occur. I would rather not see these problems happen. I encourage the district to look at how the current policy is being implemented and look for ways to improve student performance and mental health by decreasing personal devices. Thank you.
There anybody else that may not have signed up that would like to other matter? And is there anyone online that might want to participate in public comment? If not, then we will consider public comment closed. Thank you. We will now move forward with reports from the superintendent.
Thank you, board and board president Thomas. Start by sharing that the district has been named as a 2026 Purple Star District that was awarded by OSPI and monitored by the Washington Association of School Districtors. This is an award recognition for our support for the unique needs of our military students and families, and you'll be hearing more about this later in the meeting. This is the second time the district has been given this Purple Star District award. Federal budget uncertainty. The president released his budget request for federal fiscal year 2027, which begins on October 1st of 2026. This proposal requests an overall 10% decrease in non-defense spending and a 42% increase in defense spending. In K-12, Public Education. The request proposes a consolidation of 17 K-12 grants into a single grant with an overall $4.5 billion reduction to K-12 schools. This is still a process. The House and Senate have to weigh in, but it does add further uncertainty about our federal funding. Our district budget process. The ongoing uncertainty regarding federal funding, coupled with the inadequacies of state funding and increased expenditures, continues to create barriers to the work of effectively serving students. The district forecast team is planning spending cuts for the 26-27 school year to reach the board's 6% fund balance target. The district will provide a comprehensive overview of the recommended expenditure reductions at the workshop meeting scheduled for April 27th, where there will be an opportunity for the board to discuss and ask questions. During the regular meeting of the board on May 11th, the district will present a resolution to address program and personnel reductions necessary to achieve the 6% fund balance for the adoption of the 26-27 budget at the July 2026 regular meeting. Prior to last week, when we were at NSBA, the Saturday before, I had been writing the Tacoma Lake of the gap. The float was designed and constructed under the leadership of Harry employee and Virtuous High with the theme of blooming lifelong learners. Our float won the Ambassadors Award for most original design. I want to say thank you to all of the support staff and their contributions, and volunteers and their contributions to both the construction of the float and participating on the parade day. Friday, April 10th, organized by band directors of Thomas Middle School, Hutlock Middle School, Lockford Middle School, Clover Park High School, and Lakes High School. There was a district band festival. Over 500 students participated in morning clinics with the band directors, followed by an hour-long performance to family members and staff in attendance. Another celebration, but I promised one thing that I would forego that. Tonight we have a school report on Hillside Elementary School as presented by Principal Lauren Bolster. Principal Bolster has been in education since 2012 and began her career in Clover Park as a second, third grade high-cap teacher. She has since served as Dean of Students at Tybee Park and Assistant Principal at Lakeview before stepping into her current role at Hillside Elementary, where she has been since 2023. She earned her administrative certificate from Pacific Lutheran University and is dedicated to building an inclusive, student-centered school and community. Welcome, Principal Bolster. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Are you going to do the slides or do you want?
You can go over it. I think the clicker's working. Or you not, should be.
Thank you. Good evening, President Thomas, members of the board, and Superintendent Banner. My name is Lauren Bolster, and I have the privilege of serving as the proud principal of Hillside Elementary School. Hillside is a military-connected school located on Joint Base Lewis McChord, and it is an honor to represent students, families, and staff tonight. I'd also like to recognize Hillside team and community members who joined us this evening. So, at the moment. Tonight, I want you to imagine what it feels like to be a child walking into Hillside each morning, because the culture of the school is measured both in belonging and our academic data. At Hillside, everything we do is grounded in our mission, vision, and commitment to equity. Our mission is to educate all children while nurturing a love for learning and preparing them for the future. As a military-connected school, we are intentional about providing consistency, stability, and support so every student can thrive. Our vision is to create a learning community where students achieve academically, grow as confident, capable learners. This means rigorous instruction, strong relationships, and meeting the individual needs of every child. And this work is grounded in equity. At Hillside, equity means giving each student what they need to succeed, removing barriers, honoring who they are, and ensuring every student feels seen, valued, and included. These are not just words, they guide how we show up for our students every single day. When we talk about Hillside, we're talking about a community shaped by movement, diversity, and resilience. Our student population reflects families from across the country and around the world, and that diversity is one of Hillside's greatest strengths, with our largest student group sitting at 37.4% of our students identifying as Hispanic. What this means in practice is that Hillside classrooms are spaces where students learn alongside peers with different backgrounds, languages, and lived experiences every single day. Students are learning empathy and adaptability through lessons and through relationships. For many military families, Hillside is the first place they experience belonging in a new state, and our diversity becomes a bridge rather than a barrier. The structure of Hillside reflects the needs of the community we serve. 97% of our students are military connected, compared to about 3% statewide, which means our work is centered on transition, deployment, and reintegration. We serve 58% low-income students, above the state average, reinforcing that equity at Hillside is operational. We design systems to ensure access, support, and advocacy for every student. We also serve 24% of students receiving special education services. The number on the slide does not reflect the 80 preschool students we serve in our early childhood special education and ECAP programs. In addition, our high mobility rate means students are constantly entering and exiting, and our staff are skilled in making students feel known and supported immediately. These are challenges that they define our expertise. At Hillside, we are a school built for complexity, and our staff are specialists in supporting students through it. If slides 3 and 4 describe who we serve, this slide describes how we teach. When we look at our third grade data, this gives us a baseline for students entering SBA expectations. In spring 2025, students demonstrated 33.9% proficiency in ELA and 38.5% in math. As we approach the state average, we are seeing significant growth, especially in math, increasing from 24% to 38%. This reflects the impact of our instructional shifts, including SBA-aligned formative assessments and PLC collaboration, allowing teams to respond to student needs in real time. Third grade is a critical transition year, and our focus is on building confidence, problem solving, and academic stamina. This data shows both where we are and that our system is beginning to move students in the right direction. As we move into fourth grade, we begin to see how that foundation from third grade carries forward and where our system builds momentum. In spring 2025, students demonstrated 38.5% proficiency in ELA and 39.4% in math. We are seeing increased consistency, especially in math, where students are building on gains from third grade. After a dip in 2024, we are seeing a great rebound in 2025, which reflects the impact of our instructional shifts, again, including SBA-aligned formative assessments and our PLC collaboration. At the fourth grade level, teams are becoming more precise, analyzing standards, identifying patterns, and adjusting instruction in real time. Students are explaining their thinking and engaging in deeper problem solving aligned to SBA expectations. This data shows a system that is becoming more aligned and more responsive in supporting student growth. In addition to proficiency, we look closely at student growth, and this is where we see an important part of our story. In spring 2025, our fourth grade students reached a growth percentile of 60 in ELA and 68 in math, both well above the state median. This reflects a significant shift and shows our students are accelerating, especially in math. This growth is directly tied to our PLC work, where teachers use data to adjust instruction, provide targeted direct instruction, and address specific skill gaps. So while we continue building proficiency, this data shows our systems are working and our students are moving forward at a strong pace. As we move into fifth grade, we begin to see where the growth and alignment leads. In spring 2025, our fifth grade students demonstrated 43.6% proficiency in ELA and 35.2% in math. We are seeing a steady upward trend, especially in math, which has grown from 22.4 in 2023 to 35.2 in 2025. This data reflects a system that is becoming more cohesive across grade levels, with students building skills year over year. So while there's still work ahead, the trajectory is clear, our students are growing, and our systems are strengthening. To build on proficiency, we also look at student growth, which tells us how quickly students are progressing compared to their peers. In spring 2025, our fifth grade students demonstrated a median growth percentile of 41 in ELA and 54.5 in math. What stands out is the difference between content areas. In math, our students are above the state average in growth, showing accelerated progress. This reflects the strength of our math systems, including consistent PLC work and instructional practices led by our math support, including Dr. Glissner. In ELA, growth is currently below the state average, which gives us clear direction. We're continuing to strengthen literacy instruction through science of reading practices, targeted intervention, and increased consistency across classrooms. When we look across both 4th and 5th grade, a clear pattern emerges, particularly in math, where students are not just growing, but they're accelerating. Our focus now is building that same level of acceleration across all content areas. Growth data like this gives us confidence that we're moving in the right direction and making a measurable impact. In addition to ELA and math, we also look at science through the Washington Comprehensive Assessment of Science in 5th grade. In spring 2025, our students demonstrated 41.8% proficiency, below the state average of 51.4%. Looking at trends, we see a familiar pattern, a dip in 2022 and 23, followed by growth in 2024 and continued progress in 2025. Notably, proficiency reached over 52% in 2024, showing what our students are capable of. This highlights an opportunity to strengthen consistency in science instruction. Moving forward, we are focusing on deeper integration of science into daily learning, with more hands-on experiences and opportunities for students to think critically. This slide gives us a mid-year snapshot of student performance and growth in math from fall to winter. What we're seeing is encouraging. Our 1st and 2nd grade students are in the high growth, high proficiency quadrant, showing strong early math instruction and acceleration. We set the foundation for the future of their 3rd through 5th grade classes. 4th grade is right at benchmark, continuing to build on our systems. In the 3rd and 5th grade, we are seeing clear opportunities for growth as students move into more complex math, and this helps us target instruction more precisely. This data helps us know exactly where to celebrate, where to focus, so we continue moving every student forward. This slide gives us a mid-year look at our reading performance and growth. At Hillside, we typically see a dip at this point in the year. As text complexity increases, students are pushed into deeper comprehension and more rigorous work. Our 1st and 2nd grade students are showing strong performance and growth, reflecting the impact of our early literacy and science of reading work. Again, we have developed and set the foundation for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes. In grades 3 through 5, we see opportunities for growth as students transition into more complex thinking. Kindergarten's mid-year data reflects a typical pattern, with the greatest growth occurring from winter to spring. This is a predictable point in our cycle, and we know this targeted work leads to strong growth in the spring. At Hillside, we don't just report data, we respond to it. Our school annual action plan, or SAP, turns that data into focused attention. Our first goal focuses on academic achievement. By June 2026, we will increase ELA proficiency from 38.6% to 45% and raise student growth by at least 55. This connects directly to our SBA and STAR data, where we see growth, but we also need to accelerate learning in ELA, especially for multilingual learners and students with IEPs. Our second goal focuses on trust and connection. We will reduce staff perception gaps and ensure at least 85% of families feel welcomed and included. As a highly mobile, military-connected school, relationships are critical, and this will ensures we are building and measuring that trust. Our third goal focuses on belonging. We will increase the percentage of students who feel safe and treated fairly by at least 10 percentage points while reducing gaps with district averages. Because we know students learn best when they feel seen, valued, and connected. Together, these goals reflect alignment between our data, our instruction, and our commitment to every student. Now that we've outlined our goals, I want to show you what this work looks like in practice. This slide highlights how we bring Goal 1 to life through a tiered system of support. At the Tier 1 level, our focus is strong core instruction for all students. We're in our first year of science of reading implementation, grounding literacy and research-based practices. At the same time, our PLC Plus teams are designing standards-aligned units, building common formative assessments, and using that data to adjust instruction in real time. At the Tier 2 and 3 levels, we provide targeted small group support during intervention and enrichment blocks. These groups focus on phonics, fluency, and comprehension, ensuring students get exactly what they need to access grade-level learning. This work is supported by interventionists, educators, and classroom teachers working as one team. Our second goal focuses on strengthening community engagement, building trust, collaboration, and shared ownership with both staff and families. At the tier 1 level, we use our PLC plus structures not only for instruction, but to strengthen how we collaborate as adults. Teams reflect on shared accountability, inclusive decision-making, and how we support one another. We also provide professional learning in cultural responsiveness and trust building, ensuring our adult culture reflects what we want our students to experience. At the tier 2 and 3 levels, we are intentional about engaging families who may not always feel connected. We provide targeted outreach for multilingual learners, military families, and students with IEPs through small group listening sessions and strengthened home-school partnerships. One example we are especially proud of is our Military Family Life Consultant, or MFLAC, led Thursday Coffee Talk. This has become a meaningful space where families connect, build relationships, and learn about our school programs directly from our team. We all are also building feedback loops through surveys, listening sessions, so that family and staff voice directly informs our decisions. Our third goal focuses on social emotional learning, ensuring every student feels safe, valued, and connected. This connects directly to our perception data, which shows strong experiences overall, but also highlights the need for greater consistency in students feeling safe and treated fairly. At the tier 1 level, we are strengthening how SEL is embedded into daily instruction. Through second step curriculum in classroom circles, students build skills in self-regulation, conflict resolution, and peer connection. We are also expanding student voice through class meetings and restorative circles, where students help shape solutions and reflect their sense of belonging. At the tier 2 and 3 levels, we provide targeted support for students who need additional connection. This includes small group SEL and restorative practices led by our counselor and behavior interventions, along with intentional outreach to military connected students, multilingual learners, and state societies. We also implement weekly check-ins with trusted adults, ensuring students have consistent relationships and support. At Hillside, belonging is not assumed, but is built intentionally every day. This year, at Hillside, we introduced a unifying theme, all in. This is more than a slogan. It's a commitment to belonging for students, staff, and families directly aligned to our staff goals. As a staff, we defined what all in looks like, sounds like, and feels like. What emerged was a shared commitment to empathy, checking in on one another, and recognize that we all play a role in shaping our culture. That work connects directly to our Give 6 initiative. Give 6 encourages daily positive affirmation, but at Hillside, it becomes a part of who we are. You hear it every day. You matter, I'm proud of you, you've got this. These small moments build trust, confidence, and belonging, especially in a highly mobile community. At Hillside, culture is built intentionally, and when we say we are all in, we mean every person has a role in making this place where students truly belong. At Hillside, the 4 pillars are experiences students live every day. Leadership starts with student voice. Through our self-manager program and everyday opportunities, students don't just participate, they shape their environment. A great example is recess basketball. 5th grade students asked for more structure. They helped create the expectations. We bought them jerseys, and now they can manage the system themselves. Collaboration is visible in every classroom. Students engage in math talk, explain their thinking, and learn how to agree, disagree, and problem solve together. Skills built through academic work and second step curriculum. Lifelong learning shows up in how students pursue their interests, from Girls on the Run to student-led clubs like crochet or natural hair care. Students are not just receiving learning, they are helping create it. Character is both taught and celebrated. We celebrate through our PBIS program, Student of the Month, and our newer Pick of the Pack, which allows us to recognize students in real time, often through the best phone calls we get to make. All of this reflects our all-in culture, where students feel seen, valued, and heard. At Hillside, community engagement is not about events, but it's about connection. As a military connected school, many of our families are new in navigating transition. We intentionally create opportunities where students and families don't just attend, they belong. Events like Reading in a Winter Wonderland, March Madness, and Field Day are designed to bring families into learning and build relationships with staff. We also partner closely with PTO and community organizations to provide ongoing support for families beyond the school day. And that's the goal, not just academic growth, but lasting connection. This year, we launched something incredibly exciting at Hillside, our dual language program led by Ms. Herrera, and we are already seeing it make a powerful impact. Even in year 1, this program is creating opportunities for students becoming biliterate, be able to read, write, and communicate 2 languages. That's not just an academic skill, it's a lifelong asset and opens doors for our students. What makes this especially meaningful is how it reflects and celebrates our community. Many of our students come to us with rich linguistic and cultural strengths, and this program honors that, positioning language as something to be proud of, and we are already seeing very strong results. From the beginning of the year to mid-year, we saw a significant increase in proficiency on the Imagine Espanol assessment, from 36% of students now meeting standard and a notable decrease in students in the lowest performance band. That kind of growth in just a few months is something to celebrate. It reflects the strength of the program, the leadership of Ms. Herrera, and the engagement of our students. And this is just the beginning. Next year, we will welcome another cohort. This program is building toward a future where Hillside students leave not only academically prepared, but as confident, capable, bilingual learners ready for the world. Our final slide shows what equity looks like in action at Hillside. Equity is not a separate initiative, it's how we operate every day. It shows up in access to instruction, inclusion in classrooms, and how we respond to student needs. You see it in our dual language program, our MTSS systems, and our PLC work, ensuring every student receives what they need. You see it in inclusion, where students with IEPs are fully part of classrooms, experiences, and of the community. I think about a parent new to Hillside who shared how meaningful it was to see her child fully included on our field trips, at assemblies, and to be known by multiple staff members. At Hillside, equity means every student is seen, valued, and supported. And when we do that, we don't just improve outcomes, we improve and change experiences. I want to end by celebrating what makes Hillside extraordinary. Good people. Hillside staff are all in for kids, not occasionally, not when it's easy, every day. They know student stories, they track deployment schedules, they notice when a child is quieter than usual. They call families, they collaborate constantly, they celebrate small wins like their championships. And our students feel that. You see it when a fourth grader asks to start a crochet club and an adult says yes. When a student designs an art club and it becomes real. When a child learns natural hair care and a teacher gives up her lunch hour to teach. When students help rewrite basketball rules so recess feels fair. These moments may seem small to adults. To children, they are enormous. They say, my voice matters, adults listen, this school is mine. Hillside is more than a building. It is a stabilizing force for military-connected families, a place where children grow academically and emotionally, a place where adults refuse to give up on kids, and I cannot be more proud. What model are you using in the dual language? Okay, so there's 50-50 in the classroom of students that are identified as this at home and some students that it is the first time learning Spanish. So they're diving in and it's unbelievable. You've got to come visit the classroom. I learn a new word every day. But I highly recommend come check it out. Ms. Herrera is doing a fantastic job.
My question is about school moving conservative and also that making it very thorough. With the dual language program, which is near the for lots of reasons, but did you start with a kindergarten cohort?
Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
You'll have kinder first, and you have one class right now, or how?
Yes, so just one classroom right now, and just to clarify, 90% of the day is in Spanish, 10% of the day is in English, just to clarify if that's what you're asking. So yes, next year we will introduce our next cohort, so we will have a first grade classroom, and they will be at 80-20, 80% of the day in Spanish and 20% of the day.
That's how it will be for first grade.
Yeah, for first grade, yeah, and then it kind of slowly goes down, yeah, so I think third grade comes 50-50.
Well, my question for you is, with all those goals and all that growth, what is your biggest challenge or barrier to those goals? And is there anything specific that you come to the trigger for the board to accomplish?
Thank you. I think we're doing it right now. We are with our science of reading and introducing as much phonics practice as we can. the work's happening. We're just setting the foundation at this time. But thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. What I was excited to see was a lot of things what we see are lower math scores and higher ELA scores, and we have the math group. You know, we're gonna get them both out there.
Yep.
But it's exciting to see the progress that you've made in math and your thinking around how you're going to continue to make progress in ELA. And this might be a one grade for data that comes to us. But I'm just, you know, how sometimes you have classes, because we're getting year-to-year data at the same grade level. But sometimes you have like a dip in your second grade, and you see that when they're in third grade and when they're in fourth grade. So kind of looking at the data longitudinally rather than just year by year. Are you seeing, does that help explain some of the rises and drops in the data that we're seeing in the year?
Yes, and we're a highly mobile school, so a lot of our students that will be with us in first grade will not be with us in third grade, so that's always a little tricky to track.
Yeah.
But it's very predictable for us to take a little dip in winter, and our spring scores historically we've been doing great the past couple of years, so I'm really looking forward to, we already have some early stuff coming in that we're excited about. Yeah.
And then, I appreciate your focus on inclusion. I always ask those questions. So thank you for addressing some of that. And I know how good it feels to parents to see their children included. And you talked about field trips and assemblies. What percentage of your students that have IEPs would you say are included for 20% or more in a general setting?
We don't have any self-contained programs, so all.
All of them. I love that. I love that answer. And then just my last question, with your very diverse demographics of students, including the 37% Hispanic population, how does your staff and teaching force match the demographics of your body or not?
I would say we definitely have some work to do and some recruiting to do, but I think that's something we're constantly focusing on as we continue to hire. But it does not align very well. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
I just have two questions for you. One, this is for my education. You explain what Girls on the Run.
Girls on the Run is this great program where it is offered, actually, and I just want to say, all of the staff that does this, they volunteer their time. We currently have 6 coaches that do that. And it is for girls, it kind of has a friendship curriculum that also they have running and sports as a part of it. So it's like teamwork and just navigating friendships, and especially at a time that a group is so transitional, like it's such a great thing. And then we'll end with a 5K race in May, where all of the Girls on the Run programs from all over this area will come together and do a little race. It's great.
Yeah. So I learned. Still able to learn. And then I guess I wanted to ask, you know, being a school on military base, we all know what that's like. And in today's climate, you know, what kind of, are you seeing stressors or pressures from your, not just your students, but, you know, your team and everything with everything that's for?
Yeah, I think, you know, we're constantly trying to navigate, are there going to be large shifts in deployments? Are there going to be large shifts? We're seeing a lot of shifting to a member of the family going to the field for long periods of time, which may not be considered a deployment, but it definitely feels like one to a 5-year-old. And so navigating that the best we can and supporting the best we can, and also for each other. I mean, we have a lot of military spouses in our community, and making sure that we're navigating, providing as much support we can for each other.
Well, again, thank you for all of you. I know it can't be easy with those kinds of situations that are going on. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We know that you have to get ready for school in the morning, so you won't have this to model.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. For the community, just a reminder, the board has had an opportunity to review the agenda items. So, board is very much to approve items 26-087 through 26-095 for the consent agenda.
Yes, I will do that.
Moved by Director Caldwell, your second. Second by Director Tucker, all in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry.
Well, I just thought it was like, I know it's the consent agenda, but the approval of the other time, so I'm still signing. Because I got that on the.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Okay. All opposed? The motion passes. All right, on to individual action items, or, individual action items number 26-096, designating April as the month of the military child, or is there a motion to approve? Moved by Director Kim, for a second. Second by Director Miller. The month of April is a special time in which hard sacrifice made by military families and students part of the month of the military child. By designating April as a time to celebrate children from military families, the district can raise awareness and foster support an environment that acknowledges their strength. Executive Director Marketing and Communications will share some information and read the words of privilege.
Military children often face unique challenges such as frequent relocations, prolonged separations from parents, and the emotional toll of their parents' deployments. Despite these challenges, they demonstrate remarkable resilience and adaptability, balancing school life with the complexities of a military lifestyle. CPSD staff support the diverse needs of military-connected students and collaborate with military families to ensure students feel emotionally and academically supported, particularly during times of transition or parent deployment. Board members have received a symbolic purple ribbon to wear this month to show their appreciation for military-connected children. Additional purple ribbons are available to members of the audience on the table outside. CPSD has designated April 23rd as Purple Up Day, and we encourage you to wear purple to support our students. I will now read the Board of Directors resolution. Whereas millions of brave United States service members and veterans have demonstrated their courage and commitment to freedom by serving the armed forces of the United States of America in active duty posts around the world, including Joint Base Lewis McChord. Whereas more than 1/3 of Local Park School District students are from military-connected families. Whereas the recognition of the month of the military child will allow the people of the Clover Park School District community to pay tribute to military children for their commitment, challenges, and unconditional support of the United States troops. Whereas when a service member joins the military, it is a family commitment to the United States. The military children are heroes in their own way. And whereas the month-long salute to military children will encourage the community to provide direct support to military children and families. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clover Park School District Board of Directors designates April as the month of the military child and urges the communities within our district to observe the month of the military child with appropriate activities that honor and show appreciation. Thank you.
And the board is there any other question or comment? Director Lowry.
Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? I can hear you. I have no questions.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to introduction item number 26-097, contract award for the Saskatoon flooring replacement. Quality floors, board, is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Motion made by Director Caldwell, is there a second? Second by Director Gallagher, Superintendent, this line.
Yes, the Capital Projects Department has determined that the second story flooring at Lakes High School requires replacement. This project was reviewed at the board, with the board at its March 23rd workshop meeting. District has elected to utilize an interlocal purchasing agreement with Omnia Partners in accordance with RCW 39.34.030. Target was awarded system-wide flooring contract number 2020002143, effective through April 14, 2027. And Quality Floors is an approved dealer with Target. Approval of this resolution awards the contract for work to Quality Floors in the amount not to exceed $660,891.50, which includes taxes and a 15% contingency. And I recommend approval of this item.
Board, any discussion or comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next is individual action item number 26-098. Motion.
So moved.
Moved by Director Caldwell, is there a second? Sure. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's seconded.
It's seconded by Director Caldwell.
Yes, the policies outlined in this resolution have gone through the first reading process. These policies were also presented to the board at its March 23rd workshop meeting with opportunity for discussion and questions. Adjustments were made as appropriate to the board's discussion and requests. They are now before the board for second reading and adoption. Approval of this action adopt the policies as presented tonight. I recommend approval of this action.
Board, any comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next up is our matters for discussion. Policy 2151, finished scholastic activities. We have time to second reading of policy 2151. Item was previously reported for additional board discussion. Vice President Kim has sent for your suggested options based on the conversation at our last workshop. Copies have been provided to you. So discussion or
The interscholastic activities have a lot of very binary gender language. So trying to think about a way to make it inclusive while still recognizing the disparities by gender and her scholastic activities. So there are 3 different options put forward for consideration to add just as kind of an inclusive disclaimer or awareness raising before the beginning of the policy. I have a little bit of a preference, I don't know, if anybody else has a preference, and we're not limited to these, if we wanted to merge them together, we can do that as well. Is it helpful to read them for those who? We have them, but we don't, that's.
Just keeping in mind as, callous as this may sound, this meeting is a meeting for the board that's in public. It's not necessarily a meeting for the public. And so you guys are discussing amongst yourselves.
Got it. Thank you.
That said, I think my preference was option 2. I felt like it was did a nice job of explaining, I don't say how I liked it. It just is the one that to me felt the most inclusive. Well, like you said, it felt the most inclusive while still acknowledging that there are limitations in the structure of the way we do our. I also prefer option 2.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
That was my preference too, Garrett. You on board with option 2? Oh, sorry, Director Lowry. I'm gonna 2 thumbs up. And fireworks. Oh, and fireworks.
Under discussion, there are motions with what the approved effectively policy conduct environment, may scholastic activities with the immediate language as noted. Moved by Director Hinn, second.
I was just going to clarify, we're adding that to the existing policy.
Right.
Then second, then the.
Second by Director Keller, all in favor, say aye.
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 And motion passes. Well, everybody, come together.
Right. I figured we could do it here.
All right, we will now move on to, board reports. Director Culver.
I have a fabulous getting to know my fellow board directors better this last weekend. I think the conference. I attended some fabulous sessions and I look forward to continuing those discussions and, just appreciate the time. I don't have anything specific to report on, but I did travel, a lot of t-shirts and a lot of catering. It says school board super.
Director Porter.
Okay, I'm gonna commit to try to keep this short as I can. But it's been a really busy month and with a lot of really great things, and I think it's really important to shout out all the cool things that are happening in this district. So hopefully there are people listening to hear about the really good things that is in our staff program. So I started out the months after the last meeting going to the Thomas Middle School Choir concert where they wowed everyone again. And then right after that, they were one of 3 schools in the district to attend. This is hard to shorten. I tried. It's called the Mountain Region Music Educators Association March Group Contest. There's an acronym that no one would know what it meant. So Harrison Prep, Hublock, and Thomas all competed at this contest, and they all received the highest rankings of superior for all their choirs that participated. So wish I could have been there for that whole day. I had a chance to go to the ladies baseball game where they demonstrated grit, teamwork, sportsmanship in the face of what was a challenging game, and they walked with the win. But it was more than just that win; it was how they did it. That was so exciting and motivating. One of the highlights was getting to see Gutenberg the musical, which was the Harrison Prep presentation. That was the group that was selected to represent the state at the National Thespian competition. They performed their self-directed musical at the Blue House in Tacoma. It was fantastic. I could not stop laughing and just being completely wowed by the level of talent there.
after I watched the Thursday night show, I was trying to look at how I could figure out how to go on Saturday. It was that good. So, it was just fantastic. I got to do a visit to Park Lodge, which, is a terrific little school. And they really build their whole structure around leadership, so all of the students in the school have a leadership role, and that was evident as you walked in, and students answered the door and they welcomed you in and explained what they were doing, and they were very well spoken and confident little leaders. They demonstrated a lot of academic growth, and it was evident all through the halls of their building where they had different graphs. They basically explained how they were raising in percentiles, and one young lady, when I talked about how they were putting kids on this side of the graph, and what did that feel like, and she said, well, we just really look at how we want to bring all the ones on this side of the graph all the way over to this side. She completely had it. Their goal is around a multi-level systems of support, and it's just clear to us what they're doing. I'm trying to see, but I told you it was really very long. The conference was amazing. Some of the highlights for me were the special education staffing models, the student device policies, presentations, the things I learned about effective governance, and the restorative leadership. And maybe the highlight was the presentation by Brandon Klein. So if anyone has not yet read Miseducated, which is his biography, I'm excited to read that after hearing his story. I really just want them to make a documentary happen too. And then thank you, Superintendent Randall, for letting me have this great moment of celebration for our kids. I get to spend the day today at the Marriott downtown, where the Thomas social studies class was representing at the YMCA UK Government Legislative Conference. It was the first time that the middle school component had been separated from the high school. So this is 3 days they've been down there presenting bills that they've written, debating. It was so amazing. The respectful exchange of ideas, the questioning, the kids were engaged, they were polite, they were respectful. They had those about concussion protocol, equal rights, cell phone policies at school, you name it, they had it. It was totally student-led, and what I wanted to really shout out about that is that what that looks like is students just in charge of themselves and each other, and it is remarkable. And also, I want to acknowledge that that doesn't happen without teachers who facilitate that and administrators who support that. And so I know that those levels were there as well to have those students do that. So the big news is that in addition to the individual awards that were given out, Thomas was awarded the lead delegation of the year, and very, very exciting.
Yeah, so, before we went to NSBA, after the spring break from my other job, and got to go out to school visit, so thank you for arranging that for me. I don't even think I realized. I'm like, Mrs. Okay, anyway, so at Custer, I was just wowed at how many amazing inclusive practices were happening across the elementary school. So they have special ed preschool, ECAP, life skills, functional academic, resource, and K-5 general ed. And every class that I visited, and I worked just one thing, but like across the school, all of the children had, all of the classrooms had children with IEPs that were pushed in for part of the day. So even though they have self-contained classrooms, it was a lot of like case management and moving in and out of different spaces based on where the children can best have their needs met, which I love. And it even went the other way. And I know we recognized Ms. Kitchen for 30 years, 35?
40.
Okay. But her class, they have KitchenAids, I'll play on her name, and they pushed into the self-contained classes. So her kids can go in and be peer mentors in the self-contained classes. So it's just kind of this wonderful merry-go-round of inclusion at that school. That was wonderful to see.
And the, what a lot of people say is, so then you bring kids with IEPs in and you don't have a curriculum. No, you would not believe the level of learning that I saw in these classrooms. The math instruction that was happening, the ELA instruction that was happening was top notch. Everything that I saw, the instruction was at or above grade level standards, and was just so impressive. And then I also had the opportunity to visit, just around the corner, Oak Brook. Oak Brook, has a very challenging building space. If you haven't been to Oak Brook, it was built in the 70s with the open school model. So it has like 4 quadrants of huge spaces that are broken down with partitions into classrooms that the partitions don't go all the way to the ceiling. So it's very noisy. And just, there's nothing you can really do about it. So the school is built. And yet, I saw lots of collaboration and children moving back and forth. I think what made my early childhood heart really happy is in the kindergarten class that I served in. I think you're writing down teacher's name for. There was this fabulous balance of whole group, small group, and center-based learning. And so to be able to see, I think play-based learning is a really fast rap. High quality play-based learning is how young children learn best. And we think that there's this dichotomy between academics and play, and there's not. Play, academics can be taught through play. And that's what I saw in this kindergarten class. So, and then the conference, again, was amazing. I heard from some other board directors. I think some of my highlights were around definitely the keynote speaker. I'm happy to hear both now on audio, do it on audio, you read it. The first paragraph though, just heads up on the trauma. But the sessions on board member induction, I think were really helpful. I appreciated our induction process and connecting with all of the different groups and or all of the different like departments. And as a newbie board member, like I feel like I wasn't ready for that. Right? What I needed were more of the procedural, what to do, how to do it, where things are, rather than the high level overviews that I got there. And I feel like now I'm ready for that. So, I encourage us to be thinking about induction and how we might continue to improve that process. And another session that I went to that I found really valuable were a bunch of case studies of things that happened in different boards and how to address them in a more beneficial way, or in a way that in alignment with policy, in alignment with class. So I always like those kind of hands-on practical activities. I think those are my highlights.
Thank you. Director Lowry, do you have any board report?
Sure, I'm not sure you can hear me very well. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, thumbs up. Okay, I like that. If I put my thumbs up, I think I get a fireworks show here, guys. So I'll start trying to do that. I don't know how that happened, but I just want to congratulate the superintendent and the leadership team that's sitting there. I can see you guys right now for the presentation of the elementary school tonight. I think that's just amazing. Another elementary school that is just a bunch of rock stars. They're just doing such amazing things, and it's all because of you that they're leading them. So I want to thank you and applaud you without getting fireworks going. But thank you very much for all that you do. And yeah, snaps. I'm not sure what that'll do, Ron, but I think I might get fireworks again. But that's all I wanted to say, and thank you very much.
Again, right. Okay.
I don't know how it happens. If I put both thumbs up, I don't know. Something happened, and I won't do it again. Sorry.
All right.
Thank you all. I too attended the conference, and it was very nice to get to know our fellow board members. There were a lot of good sessions, but I think under our circumstances, the budgeting and those kind of things were very good to hear and listen. And, it's always kind of nice to hear, the districts, I don't want to say complain, but kind of makes you walk out of the room but lots of more, that. With that, we're just going to recess and go into executive session to discuss, some legal matters. And we will borrow the parameters, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes.
And before you go, I'm just going to let the record reflect that I will be recusing myself.